On today's episode, we are covering the biggest film in the world, one of the biggest films of the year, and that is, of course, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. We are doing a full non-spoiler and spoiler-filled review on today's episode, as well as a bunch of news that we have every week. So, guys, let's just get right into it. Let's get right into the meat and potatoes of this thing.
So,
right?
wait, no, non-spoilers
Let's go.
first. Non-spoilers first, yeah.
Non-spoilers
Right,
first half of the
okay,
show,
yeah.
guys. That's
So
important.
first half,
Yeah,
okay,
we will
that's
tell
important.
everyone when we're moving on to spoilers and
Okay,
give time codes and whatnot, so that they can
Okay.
So-
choose when to pause the podcast.
Bit of context for anyone who hasn't seen the movie. Kyle, what would you say the whole movie is about?
No.
Just
I
I don't
wait,
want to
no,
tell
no,
you
no,
the plot
no,
because Kyle.
No,
right?
Lewis,
Okay. On you go,
shut
Kyle.
your
Tell us
mouth.
the plot of the
Okay,
film.
Right. I
No,
mean,
tell us the plot of the film.
I can do it one of two ways, okay? I can do it the Kyle
Yeah.
method, where I just don't say anything. Or I can do the Gonzalo method, where I say,
Where you tell-
now,
Why don't you meet in the middle and do the Lewis method? Right? Why
right,
don't you
okay, I'll meet in the I'll meet in the
Right.
middle, and I'll do a normal one, okay? Now,
Okay.
See, this is why I asked
a bit
Kyle
of an
to do
issue,
it.
right, off the get-go. It never tells you the time or place. Quite concerning. I was very confused in the entire film. I was like, where are we? What time is it? So yeah, basically, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness follows
Yeah.
Doctor Strange as he basically travels the multiverse with the help of his new best buddy, America Chavez.
Surprisingly little madness.
Yeah, on the way to
Yes, we'll get to
battle
that.
Wanda, who isn't feeling too, sane at the moment.
Yeah.
you know,
I guess there's.
And
You
yeah,
kind of have to do some homework before you see this. I guess.
exactly. Well,
Oh yeah.
I've got a good solid
Yeah.
two movies and a TV show before you see this film.
Yeah.
I tried explaining the plot of the movie to my girlfriend
Yes,
as soon as I
but-
came back. She was like, "Oh, what's the movie about?" And I was like, "Okay, well, first let me catch you up on the shows."
Yeah, you're like,
Yeah,
let me
that's
catch you
kinda
up with 10 years worth of background lore.
yeah.
But yeah, so
Yes, but Wanda is after America because she has the ability to travel through different universes, and
Yeah, and
she
star-shaped.
Wanda wants that power so she can be with her family. That's really kind of the basic. That's the very
it's
basic
really-
level. There's a
it's
whole
really-
lot of
yeah. At its core, it's a family film about family values.
no. There is it's a plot filled with cameos and MacGuffins and all sorts of. It's funny that you say actually, Gonzalo. We're going to start off with what you said actually about the not a lot of madness, because
Yeah.
I don't really like to start off with a negative note, but I feel like
Yeah.
the title
It's
is a
going to be
bit
all
misleading
positive.
in
There's
that
the
regard.
one shot.
Because it's going to be all positive after this
There
one
is
negative.
There is
Yeah,
one
yeah,
very
yeah.
cool shot where they travel through a lot of
Yeah.
universes.
all the
in
all the
one
creativity
very
is done within like
Yeah.
1 minute of the
and then
Oh.
it ends.
the film. Yeah, the madness is a
Yeah.
bit misleading. Yes, there is some universe jumping.
Yeah.
They really only stay in how many universes do they go into this?
Two.
Actually,
3.
Yeah, 2 or 3.
I
There's
would say
not
3
a
in
lot
total,
of
yeah.
there's
Yeah,
not a
'cause
lot
of
of
that one,
pure pure madness in this.
of
And
them.
One of them is arguably just like
one of the the main
broken
one they
one.
go to
No,
is
no,
So there's
no,
not
this-
very
our
interesting at all.
universe-
No, this main one, Lewis, I
There's your
disagree.
universe.
This is so creative.
Oh yeah, they have trees throughout.
Oh, they've
New
got
York. That's
trees,
true.
and red light means go. I think they really broke the boundaries of what
I
storytelling
thought
could put forward.
that was a very funny joke, and that is the best thing I can say about the design of that universe.
Oh, that was-
Especially because
Well,
the outside
I-
looks very cool, but then as soon as you get inside a building, it's just the same.
Right.
thing.
Yes, so not much
Well, actually,
multiverse
see
hopping.
the see the joke about the red light, green light thing. I remembered immediately that is a joke from the Mickey Mouse. There was a Mickey Mouse cartoon, and that is exactly a joke they did in that thing. That was like a sketch show
You
with
heard
like
it
Mickey
here
Mouse
first,
and Donald
guys.
Duck, and I was like, you've ripped off
Mickey Mouse
your
did
own
it better.
material,
They
Disney.
ripped
But anyway,
off the boss.
yeah, I guess that's
Yeah.
kind of where I wanted to start with this sort of kind of calling it the Multiverse of Madness and not really, living up to that title
Well,
is
I actually have a question.
kind of a bit of a sin for me. Yeah.
I've got a question because I kind of get lost in the timeline of all of this. Was the title announced when the original director Scott
Yes.
Derrickson?
Yeah.
Was the title announced when he was still attached?
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
It was.
Yeah, it was.
Do you know, Lewis?
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay. Right, well, see, I didn't know. I was kind of like, maybe
did you
it
not hear me
changed when
there?
it went to Raimi, but
Yeah.
No. It was always Multiverse of Madness. It's always been
Honestly,
that when Scott Derrickson was involved.
right, okay.
I feel like they're like okay, so like it feels like this movie has gone through a lot of drafts and has transformed into what the movie that we watched was. Because
Yeah.
the multiverse really like yeah, but it's more treated as a MacGuffin and a,
Yeah.
like you know than an actual part of the movie as a whole. Like it's more like the Tesseract in the first Avengers.
Yeah.
It's a thing. You know that the
Yeah.
bad guys
Well,
want
there's
and
like-
the good
there's
guys
like-
want to.
There's
Yeah.
like multiple MacGuffins in this film. There's the Book of Vishanti, and there's the multiverse. America Chavez is a MacGuffin in herself, and then of course you
Yeah.
have the Darkhold stuff. But also, that's another thing I wanted to lean to as well. And we might talk about this next week more so, Gonzalo, because you brought up this topic idea.
Oh
But
yeah.
it's the idea that when watching this, right? Because guys, if you haven't seen WandaVision, right? If you haven't watched any of the Marvel shows, the last time you would have seen Wanda Maximoff would have been Avengers Endgame.
When she
And
was
if you
kind of,
jump
yeah.
from that film, from her, like, just if you just watch the movies and you're like, oh yeah, Wanda, I wonder what she's going to do in this film, and you jump from Endgame into this, you're going to be like, what the hell's happened? Have I missed? I've missed a lot of what's going on, and that is kind of an issue with this film. This film is hard to take isolated. Yes, they kind of catch you up with. I mean, if you hadn't watched WandaVision, I guess you just kind of put two and two together of what happened, but you
Yeah.
lose a lot of what that
'Cause,
character
like-
went through.
I would-
Okay, so
Yeah.
like you're saying, like it's really interesting because like this film starts in the middle of her arc.
Yes, it does.
Like her character arc started in WandaVision, sort of like the one that they're like putting a finish or a nice little bow on in this movie. Like her arc started in WandaVision. It seemed like it had ended during the show,
Yeah.
but apparently they kept it open, and now they're. It feels very weird. It feels very weird. I understand the concept they're going for. I like the idea. It doesn't feel earned within this movie. Like that's like when we were commenting before this started, and you said like if this was like a standalone film, like it doesn't work as a standalone film at all in any sense of the word. Where like we talked about it last week when we did the best sequels, and that's why like we talked about sequels last week because this movie was coming up, and we talked about how like some of the best sequels are the ones that you can watch on their own without like they're
Yes,
independent of the previous movie without being like fully independent, and this one
You're given a dossier
is
before you go in.
100%. Yeah, this is not only dependent on the previous movie, but it's dependent on so much.
I mean, it's
and
technically
so
dependent
much.
on 2 TV shows and 2 movies.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you really want to understand everything that's happening, especially when it comes later on in the middle, when they're on that Red Light Go universe, there's some characters that you have to. Sorry, 3 TV shows.
3 TV shows, because yeah.
Well done, Gonzalo. That's non-spoiler went long
is
enough.
that a spoiler? Sorry.
Right,
sorry.
yeah, let's
Sorry.
just
I'm gonna-
cut that out.
I will
Cut that out.
bleep that in the
God
editing. I
damn
will
it,
bleep that
you
name in the
bloody
editing. I'll bleep that.
bastard.
I'll bleep
Yeah.
that. It's fine. I will bleep
bleep
it.
it,
I
yeah.
need to do the editing anyways. I'll just put like a bleep there.
Okay,
You're-
right, Kel,
you were good, you were
let's
good,
carry
yeah.
on with what you were saying
What was I saying?
about the 3 shows.
Oh yes, sorry, yeah. So you've got like a lot of kind of background knowledge, which I agree with Gonzalo. Really kind of makes it almost a chore to kind of gear up to go see this.
Yeah, it's
film.
homework.
Yeah, it's homework.
Yeah.
While like any other film, you can kind of jump in, and I want to if we go back to December with No Way Home, right? That film, technically kind of should require some. If you want to really understand it, you would require some background knowledge of.
Yeah.
Well, Toby and Andrew, we're way past spoiler point with that.
Yeah.
But I mean, my sister went and had probably not seen any of the Andrew films, not seen any of the Toby films, and really enjoyed it. Just kind of enjoyed the ride. Was kind of like, because it was kind of explained to her, all right, these are clearly villains that happen from that spell, oh, those are other Spider-Men. I recognize them.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, they must be
It does.
connected.
It can work. I mean, you don't
Yes,
get
it
as much of
can.
a blast, but it does work.
But when you're saying with this, like, does this one explain it? I mean, you get into, so there's a we seen it the 10, 15 minutes in, when Wanda's having a dream about her kids, right? And as you're saying, like, it can piece together, but you might piece together that she had kids in between films. Doesn't tell you that they were actually she created them out of nothing.
Yeah.
Like, she created them from magic.
Well, yeah. Well, they tell you. They have to tell you that in the film.
Yeah, later on. I mean,
Wong says it.
Exactly. If you're kind of just kind of watching, you're kind of
But like,
you're
I know
reevaluating
what you're trying to get at, Kyle. Like, okay, so on last Wednesday, because it was May the 4th, I sat down with my girlfriend and we watched the first episode of The Mandalorian. Okay, so that TV show, like, there's a ton of Star Wars history tied with that TV show. Like, there's so many details, not only from the movies or the shows, but even just like the comics and expanded universe that are like just poured into that. But when you watch it, as someone like my girlfriend who has barely watched the Star Wars movies and doesn't know anything about anyone, you can still understand what's happening without needing like the movie to stop and explain to you what's going on.
I get what you mean, but there's a big difference of the subtleties and then the main villain being somebody who had their own TV show.
That's what I mean. But like that's what I mean. Like that's what I mean. Like it requires like the way they set up the story. I feel like Wanda should have had the ending of her arc within a sequel to her TV show rather than the mainline movie.
Someone else's film.
Yeah.
You could.
But that's the thing.
You could have easily replaced Wanda. To be perfectly honest, you know.
Oh yeah, with anyone else.
Anybody who had you could replace her with anybody that had a multiversal gain to have.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, and any sort of magical powers.
Yeah,
Which...
but it's becoming a catch-22 with Marvel, right? Because they created WandaVision, and there's a whole point. That whole show is a show about grief and about having to deal with the losses in your life. And because you already have that character basically set up with so many hours now, if you include the Avengers films and things, set up on a plate, it's like, well, we can then make her a weightier villain in someone else's film, but then in a way that also it becomes, and that's what I'm saying, this does become, it's not an issue for me personally because I've seen WandaVision, but I'm just saying as a film, that's not a good thing if you have to require someone to watch a show for then the villain's motivations and the villain's purpose in that film to then have more weight. It doesn't work as it doesn't even work as a Doctor Strange sequel in itself.
Yeah, like even if you are doing something like that, what I'm saying is that there's a right way to do it, and they didn't do it right in my opinion. First of all, as someone who watched WandaVision, and it's one of the shows that I've enjoyed the most, even though the ending was a bit bleh. Yeah, that's neither here nor there.
Laser battles.
I thought that they didn't. Like, she wasn't a good villain in this. I didn't think she was a compelling villain at all in this movie. I thought she was very standard and very simplistically done, and I didn't enjoy it.
And a lot of that comes down to a lot of her dialogue is very repetitive. She repeats her motive. And maybe that's because there's that catch-22, because there's people who wouldn't have seen the show. Probably a lot of people who've seen this film wouldn't have seen the show. And you have to kind of reinforce that so much. But actually, even that is still very heavy-handed, and it does become kind of annoying and a flaw with her character.
That's what I mean. Like, it neither works for people who know the backstory, nor for people who don't know the backstory. I don't feel it works for either type of audience. And you can do these things well. Again, with another Marvel property. I know it's a show and they have a lot more time to develop characters and plots and things like that, but with the Loki show, my sister doesn't have any clue what the heck's going on with like Endgame or anything like that. We watch the entirety of Loki and they present the character in a really interesting way, and he gets his own arc within that show that's like, even though it's dependent on what happens earlier, it's also standalone, if that makes any sense. And
but
I don't feel like...
in a sense, that show's also going to have a bigger prop. And when we get to Ant-Man, I know we're this kind of sidetrack thing, but when we get to Ant-Man 3, people are going to be like, well, who the hell's the villain of this? Because that, it's becoming sort of a problem for me personally.
Yes, but... you can, like, okay, I get it. It's a problem, okay? It is a problem. The comics have this same problem. And, like... It is. It's a whole universe. There's a lot of characters. You throw them from one property to the next, and you don't know what's going on, and you need that to explain. But you can do it. It's not like
No.
it's impossible
Yeah.
to do
No,
it
I
well.
know.
It has been done well. Comics do it well all the time, and horribly wrong all the time.
Yeah.
But like, I've gotten into like a bunch of DC comics with zero knowledge of what comes prior to them. And just because that art is designed in a way with like characters, recurring characters, some of them still have ongoing arcs, it still works. You can do it well, and I don't think this movie did it well.
Right, yeah,
Okay,
I
yeah.
get what you mean. I think we're kind of getting sidetracked with the character. I want to bring focus to the actual
Yeah.
main character for a minute, Doctor
Yeah,
Strange,
yeah.
who doesn't
Yes.
feel like the main character.
No.
You know, especially
Yeah,
for a lot of
it's-
the film. Maybe in the later halves, it kind of the focus comes back onto him. But like, especially
Yeah, it's
at the start, and then up to that kind of set end of that second act, he kind of just felt like
I
he
know
was
what you mean.
there just because
I'd
his name
say
was in the
for
title.
this, it kind of, I mean, it kind of felt more like not ensemble piece because I guess the cast isn't necessarily that big, but
yeah.
I'd say it's still kind of his story, and we'll get to like, well, actually, I have gripes with the ending in itself, but
Yeah.
when it comes to Doctor
Is
Strange,
talking
I think
about,
the
like,
main
his moral arc a spoiler.
No, yeah, I guess. I mean, it's because the film begins with, well, it kind of sets up like where he is.
Yeah,
I
and
don't really want to. I don't want to spoil that here. I guess we get to
Okay.
spoiler, and like the
I'll
film's
be
kind of.
vague, but basically, like, I feel like the main issue because it's like he's written to have a specific arc,
Yeah.
and it's repeated and it's told to us what like his issue is and what he has to overcome throughout the entire movie.
Yeah.
Until the end, and in the climax, he sort of overcomes it in a
Yeah,
symbolic way.
but I actually.
The issue, I feel like,
Oh right, you're gonna get to the issue, okay?
yeah, I feel like the issue is like, of course, they had an idea for like, okay, this is his big flaw, and this is how he's going to overcome it, and they keep doing they technically keep reminding you throughout the whole movie that that's an issue and he has to overcome it, but we never see any growth. He goes from not to then yes.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
Well,
that was my issue.
I
with
thought
this,
like
at least.
the growth you're talking about is once again it's kind of hard to kind of not spoil, but there's like a line where it's like
yeah.
you're just like all the other strangers, and then
And he's like, no, I'm not.
and
Boom,
then
growth.
but then by the end it's like maybe you are just like maybe I am just like all the strangers, and it's just like okay
Yeah.
we're gonna back up here and you're like the same. Yeah, you're basically saying
But,
no, I
like,
am the same ruddy bastard
That's
man.
the thing. That's what my issue is with it. Like, for an arc to work, you don't only need like a start and an ending.
Yeah.
You need like the middle bit, and it's missing
Yeah.
the entire middle bit. Like,
Yeah.
it's like, hey, we start you need a white hat, and by the end of the movie, without having a white hat for the entire movie, he suddenly gets a white hat, and it's
Yeah.
like, that's nice.
just-
But why did he get, like, what led him to get his white hat?
I've got-
I'm using white hat
Oh,
because the first
sorry.
thing that
Well,
came to
I
mind.
just
but
want to kind of finish up with the Doctor
Yeah.
Strange character thing in itself, because yeah, you have that thing that America Chavez says to him about the other strangers, and that's kind of like the setup for
Yeah.
where he's going to go in the film. But also, you have the Rachel McAdams character, Christine,
Oh shit! Yeah.
with her whole the Christine thing's interesting, right? Because me and Kel were talking before the show. I mean, I was kind of at a crossroads at like, should you kind of get rid of this character or should you have her in the film? Because at points
Get rid of her.
it felt necessary. You think that?
I don't
I
think
personally
she
kind of
was-
think. I think
she
her
was
fun.
good.
No, I
No,
the
understand her
issue is,
role in the
like, by
film.
the
No,
end
I
of the
understand
first-
her role in the film, and I know why she's there to obviously,
Yeah.
be a reminder to Doctor Strange that, okay, he may have done all these amazing things in the past, but at the end of the day, he didn't get what he wanted, right?
Yeah.
But I think you do keep her in the film because there's just a certain, I can't really spoil here, right? Because I think that is a great setup. I think that's a really solid thing to have, something
of
Doctor
course.
Strange didn't obtain in his life.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
But it's
It
when
just-
you get to the middle act of the film. I won't spoil where we go with the Christine Doctor Strange character thing, but it's when we get to that sort of encounter
The
Yeah.
second world, right?
Yeah.
where it feels
yeah.
like
Yeah.
Doctor Strange is smarter than this and shouldn't be like trying to, you
Yeah,
know,
it's like, what's
kinda
the,
like
what's
it,
the point?
it literally
For-
gives you the it gives you the
like
opposite
trying.
of what
He's like,
we've been told.
it-
You
it
have
felt-
to do this,
yeah.
and then it's like, no, if you do this,
He's
bad
It felt
things
so.
happen.
It felt kind of
Yeah,
really out of
no, I know
character
what you
him
mean.
to be like, oh, here's another Christine, and then maybe something can happen here, and I'm like, mate. Like,
It's not
why
your
are you doing
universe.
this now of
Yeah,
all time?
there's
It's
a
not your
big
universe.
thing.
It's also, why are you doing this at this time? It just felt really like kind of lazy. Like, you've
Could-
already established you can't always get
for
what
me-
you want. But
Yeah, again, for me, I always go back to this, and I'm gonna be a pain in the ass with it. For me, a movie is a thesis. You present an idea, you reinforce it, and then you end with a conclusion. This movie presented an idea, did nothing for the entire movie, and then gave us a conclusion. But that conclusion isn't based on anything that the movie showed.
Yeah, right.
Like if the thesis of your movie is like, hey, friendship makes you stronger, okay? Then you gotta show us a protagonist that doesn't have that friendship. Then they obtain it. It makes them stronger, and by the end, it's like, despite everything, friendship makes you stronger. The problem is they missed the whole bit in the middle where like you get the friendship
Yeah,
and it shows
you
how
get the
that makes you
friendship.
stronger.
I think
Yeah.
Right, I'm really struggling because I've got so many comments, but I actually can't say them.
It's so hard to do
It's-
without spoiling, isn't it?
no, Kyle, are you gonna? You want to talk about the second act of this film?
No, I was actually there was a part that I
Okay.
kind of was thinking like what they could have done better with the strange character, but then it kind of it spoils like the first 10 minutes, the first 4 minutes of the film because it's
Right. Okay.
because
Yeah.
there's an idea where like obviously there's Multiverse of Madness and I thought it could have been like a buddy cop film with
Yeah.
a couple of strangers, literally.
Mhm.
Like, if you had a couple of strangers, right, and then you had our strange kind of, first of all, kind of reluctantly get along with the other strange, but then realize that what the other strange is like, and then realizing that's what a lot of the strangers are like, and then that's where he kind of gets that
Could
change.
have been a way better like
Uh-huh.
arc.
Like
yeah,
that's
for
when
sure.
he gets that change, when he sees how the other ones are reacting, kind of has a bit of
Yeah,
self-reflection.
to him, yeah.
We didn't get that
Yeah.
sadly,
Yeah.
and I was like, that could have been a
No.
really
No.
cool.
Yeah, we kind of get that. We kind of have to get that through like a third party that is America.
Yeah, because like you
tells
get
it
that
to him.
you get him interacting with another strange, but thematically it has like shit all to do with what his arc is supposed
Yeah,
to be.
well, I mean
about,
that's that
interaction.
strange we see from the trailer, the
Yeah,
the slightly darker strange.
yeah, of course.
But I think we should probably. I don't know. I have a lot more to say, but a lot more I would have to say in spoilers.
Well, yeah, okay. Well, actually, let's because there's guy.
Before we go to
I think
spoilers,
yeah. Before we go into that, I think we have problems with the second act as a collective, right? But we cannot get into those issues until spoilers. But I want to, before we go into spoilers, let's talk
Yeah,
about
sure.
some positive things we liked about this
Okay,
film
yeah.
as well, because there's plenty of stuff we liked. I will say, I will kick it off. I will say, and a massive twist, right? Because Marvel films are notorious for having very bog standard third acts and final climaxes.
Yeah.
I will say this film has I think the climax is really, really
I
creative
really
and
liked
really
it.
great.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it.
Really having a big twist on just this whole like, oh, let's just have lasers and explosions and just like punch. Really big twist
I
on
missed,
that.
I missed the laser in the sky though. I missed it. I missed that good little laser.
No
in
laser
the
in the
sky.
sky,
Yeah,
exactly.
everyone did, yeah.
Really sort of
No punching, just to solve your
Yeah.
problems.
Yeah,
which is
really like
weird.
letting. And also, I want to say this: people on Twitter and things that are trying to claim this is like a horror film, guys, it's absolutely
It's
not.
not.
I saw
It's
someone on
not.
Twitter say,
There's horror
don't take your
elements.
kids to see Doctors." Yeah, don't take your kids to see
I mean,
Doctor
it's
Strange
got some
too. I'm
pretty
like, guys,
gruesome
come on.
moments.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I can think of
Uh-huh.
one death that would have scarred me as a kid if I had seen it. But apart from that,
No,
it's-
but
script.
yeah, it is when we get to that third act, we get Sam Raimi gets to sprinkle some of his magic in there. We get some really
Yeah.
creative battles, some really inventive ways to deal with the final the final villain.
I want to say, I do feel
it just all
that's-
really
okay.
works.
I do feel
it all
that he
really
sprinkles
works.
stuff earlier on. Like I was saying to you, Lewis,
He does,
earlier.
yeah.
A wee bit in the first act, but I think he was really restrained. And then I do
He was
completely
restrained.
agree what you said to me over text, where they were like, Marvel just said to him, do whatever you want for the last 20 minutes. And he
No, yeah.
did.
I was like, oh,
Honestly-
20-25 minutes throughout the film, you get like, some edits that are like just references to work, nothing really else than that. Yeah.
The
What were you saying,
last,
Gonzalo?
Honestly, I like if we're talking positives, I am very happy with the way it uses the way it introduces certain mechanics of the world and the way it uses them later on.
Yeah.
I think that's really well done. There's a lot of good setup.
Oh,
and
yeah,
payoff.
yeah.
Are you thinking of all the dream stuff?
Yeah,
That
yeah.
was
I
really
thought that
cool.
stuff was really
explains
clever.
it very
I like the dream
well,
stuff.
and it
yeah.
uses it very well because it's very easy to overwhelm you with a lot of this magical stuff. But the way it does it, I feel like it explains it very well, and then it twists. It's kind of like a video game level, First it explains it in a very safe way,
And then it brings it back.
It shows you expands it, and then it brings it back
Yeah,
with a twist.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
liked it. I liked the way they did that with several of the mechanics of the universe and the magics and all that stuff. And again, I think that's a very complicated thing to do, and they did that very well.
Yeah.
I still feel there's a lot of issues with the movie, but overall, I am fairly happy with it, and especially the fact that I feel like they had a story and they focused on the story. And that was the thing that I was scared of. I don't think they did a great job of it, and you guys may disagree with me.
Okay.
But I
Well,
feel
Kyle,
like
let's
they
get
had a
to-
story and they focused on it.
Kyle, let's get to you. What positives
Did they
else
have
do
a
you want to say?
story? And did they focus on
I'm
it?
not saying it's a good one, and I'm not saying they told it perfectly, but for me it feels
It gets
like,
a little
you know,
messy. It gets a little messy. But
I
Kyle,
was expecting a lot worse, Kyle. I was expecting a lot worse.
any
Positives.
positives for you, Kyle? Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. There is some positive. I like the score. The score was pretty sound.
Score's good.
Oh,
Score's.
Yeah, you know,
He loves he loves a little jump scare with a wee piano.
I did. You know, I love
It
that.
also doesn't sound like Danny Elfman a lot, which I like.
No.
I really enjoyed that. I like I said that the last 20 minutes were incredible. Yeah, that was good. There was also there was the credits.
Oh my god!
They're-
Well,
they're-
I think, guys,
were pretty-
listeners,
I was
you can
pretty
kind
happy
of
to
tell
see
who's
them.
probably going to give this the lowest score today.
Well, wait, actually, I was going to say,
But you liked it
I was going to
least
say
out
we
of
should
all of us.
probably
Yeah.
give scores now, just because
Yeah,
if
yeah,
you just
yeah,
want to
for
listen
sure,
to
for
the
sure.
non-spoiler part,
Yeah,
and
that's
just
true.
give a kind
That's
of
true.
general, kind of overall score. So we'll start with Gonfalo, actually.
No, wait. Sorry,
Okay.
I wanted to talk about America for a bit
Oh,
because
okay.
country.
Let's talk about
She
her
was-
character. Yeah, because she was kind of a co-protagonist.
Oh,
in
yeah,
this.
I mean,
no,
didn't
I
give her a
wanted
lot
to.
of
I just wanted to
development,
say as a positive. I actually thought America was a pretty solid character. I actually really liked her,
Yeah.
and I liked her throughout the film. I thought she was a really good partner for Strange.
Yeah,
and
I-
actually,
very
yeah,
good
I was
contrast,
I was
very
pleasantly
likeable.
surprised by her. I thought she was a really good
I love
co-star in the film.
I love how Strange went from. I mean, technically, he doesn't remember Peter, but being very reluctant to working with kids, and now he's like, this one's not too bad. This is
Yeah.
this one, kids.
Honestly, though, I was
Here-
surprised because, let's be honest, she doesn't have that big of a role in the movie. She's more of a MacGuffin turned into a character than anything.
I'd say the film starts with her, man.
I would say she has a
Well,
pretty
I
big
know,
role.
I know.
Yeah. No, her
but
character
I
is a
mean
no.
as a person.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
mean
her
like
character is a
throughout
MacGuffin.
the
We said
plot.
that. We
Yeah,
said that
well,
earlier.
the only-
She's a human MacGuffin.
The only thing that annoyed me
But
about
like, I feel
yeah.
like despite that, she was fairly likable, and
Yeah, she
I
was
really
likable.
liked
That was
the
it.
actress interpretation. Like, I feel like she was more likable than what she was written to be. I feel like a lot of it comes through the acting and how the actress gave like some three-dimensionality
Yeah.
to this character.
The only thing
You
I
know?
didn't like about her character, which I felt was just a writing standpoint, which I can't really say because it is spoilers.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
But it had to do with her thing of and this is the lowest key, not dreaming. Right?
Oh, okay.
Oh,
And I was like,
okay.
that is such a
Okay.
that was just such an easy writer's excuse to
I don't think it was that bad.
well no because
No,
the
but I
idea,
think
the
that's
idea,
gonna
the
come
idea
into,
of the
like-
multiverse is that there's infinite possibilities. So that it can't there can't not, you know.
But
I can't
but
I can't,
know,
I
but
can't
like,
talk about it now.
I feel like
I
this
can't
is
talk about it
just.
now 'cause obviously-
I feel like this is just like setting up a bigger mystery that does not get resolved throughout the movie. Like we don't know where she comes from, if that makes sense. And I have a feeling she's not from the multiverse. She's from something
Oh,
outside
God,
of the.
we're gonna have
like
another
we can
one?
theorize about this.
madness
stuff.
of the multiverses.
No, but like the place with the big book thing is technically outside all of the universes. So like it's a possibility. I don't know.
Madness of the
Feel
place
like-
with the
Well,
big
anyway.
thing.
I don't think
Let's
that's in like the quantum realm either. Okay, sorry. Now we're getting
Right, let's get
into
to scores
speculation.
before
Yes,
we get
scores.
to
Yes.
the
Madness
news.
of
So Gonzalo,
Quantumania.
let's start with you.
I am going to be generous. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. I
7
will
out of 10.
probably go
Okay.
down on that score, but just because it's new and I had a lot of fun with it, I'll give it a 7 out of 10.
Okay. Kyle, what about you?
Oh, me, I would say it's probably a 5 out of 10 for me.
Okay, 5 out of 10.
The parts where it was Raimi's film really kind of pushed it up for me.
Yeah.
And
Fair.
I wasn't. Yeah, no, I'm just gonna leave it at that. I have to say everything. I have to be said after the break. Sorry.
Right. Fair enough.
What about you?
Personally, I'm gonna give it a 6. I'm gonna give it a 6 out of 10. There was enough in it that I liked for me to be like, yeah, that was decent. That was a good time. Although yes, there is some problems with it, and it mainly comes down to that middle act, and actually, like we said, things to do with, making us do homework to make this all worth it, and actually stuff with the ending. But we'll get to the very end of the film, I should say. But we'll get to that in spoilers.
Because I've realized throughout the whole us scoring our movies, our scores from 0 to 10, I don't think it means the same because I'm overly generous with every single movie. I believe I gave a movie an 11 out of 10 at some point.
We could have a whole
I think that was
giving
Moonfall.
films out of 10s.
Yeah, I think Gonzalo gave Moonfall an 11.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. I haven't seen Moonfall, but sure.
Because
not a 10.
people live in a world where if you give something a 7, oh my god, you hated it. You hated that film. You gave it a 7. You give it a 7.
For me, a 5 is the worst score that a movie can get because 5 just means that it was utterly dull.
But no, 5 would mean that's
average.
Okay. That's okay.
Yeah, that's
but
that's dull. I'd rather watch something that's actively bad.
Nah,
than
I
something
give
just,
Ambulance a 5, man, and I would probably watch it again because had some stupid shit I want to see.
See what I mean? But for me, a 5 is the worst score that you can get because
right.
at least a 1 is so horribly bad and unfilm-like that it's it's interesting. in
Right,
some
Kyle's
way.
itching to get to the news. Kyle's itching to get to spoilers past the
He
news.
just wants to get to
the
spoilers.
spoilers.
Okay, let's
do the
just
news.
move on to the news then.
News jungle.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Welcome to the news with Kyle. We can put a wee jingle. I don't mind.
Okay.
I don't want to get bullied.
So is it news with Lewis today? Is it not the news with Kyle today? Is that what we're doing?
I
Oh,
have some news.
Okay, here we go.
The Avatar trailer came out.
No, wait, is this good?
Oh, yeah.
What came out?
The Avatar trailer.
Oh yes, the Avatar trailer did
watched
drop
it
with
during
Doctor
the-
That
Strange.
dropped with, and it didn't show. Well, it showed a bit of Pandora. It showed a lot of
Showed
water.
a
yeah.
lot,
Pandora.
just no plot stuff.
Yeah, just
Zero
it
plot
showed
stuff.
off
No
water.
plot.
It was just James Cameron going, "Hey, look at this pretty
Yeah.
CGI,"
Yeah.
and I was sitting there going,
There was some non-water stuff. I will
"There
say.
was non-water stuff as well."
There was.
Yeah,
It had me.
It was basically just it was like a visit Pandora.
It was like an advert. It was
Yeah.
like a holiday resort.
Yeah.
Come visit Pandora.
Come to Disney World.
And
Pandora Land.
as somebody who doesn't mind the 2009 original Avatar, I did after watching that I was like, that does look very good. Just visually,
Yeah.
visually
Oh,
I'm talking about
Visually, it looks
I'm
good.
Yeah.
going to go watch it for sure, just because of the visuals.
if you-
I will say this.
Yeah, if you can tell me the plot shit,
Sorry.
I would still see it just purely on the visual standpoint.
Yeah, I still think he's holding back. I want to know. It's not just visual effect, although visually, I mean, it's going to probably win Oscar for best visual effects already. But I want to know what else he's got in store for the cinematic format, because obviously he did the whole 3D thing before, and is he just going to do is this going to be the best 3D ever again?
It's
Is
gonna,
that
it's
what
gonna
it's going to be?
4D. They're
It's
taking
4D,
us to
man.
Pandora. It's a live
Okay,
show.
that's going to take us there.
You
right.
physically get on a rocket.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The moments with the gun actions, some of the audience may die.
Yeah,
may
that
not
is true.
survive.
I
the
have
viewing.
I have one
I will-
bit more of news. Sorry, I
Okay,
have one
okay.
additional bit more. Just because I saw it today, Guardians 3 has finished filming.
Okay.
Did it
James
finish?
Gunn
It finally
announced
finished.
Today after it was something ridiculous. He said 100 days of shooting. Actually, no, sorry, 100 days of shooting.
Oh, no.
Which I think is actually
Okay.
pretty decent. I would say for
That's pretty average.
yeah,
I would
especially
say,
for a
yeah.
big sci-fi action
Yeah.
hero show.
Mm-hmm.
Although he did say that he's not holding back. He's basically saying this is the end of this
Yeah.
group of Guardians.
Yeah,
It's
that's
the
good.
end of their
That's good, yeah.
story. Karen Gillian posted
Glad.
saying that they're all pretty obvious. being like, this is probably the last time you'll see Nebula, and I was like, all right, keep it down.
Yeah.
Um,
It's been that vibe for a while. I've always thought, well, where else are they? Like they brought them
yeah.
in for Infinity War and Endgame. Like, what else are going to do with them? I think this is just
I mean,
kind of the end of their story now.
I don't think it's going to be a case where they kill them off. I think it's just going to be they fly
No,
out
no,
into
no,
the
no.
sunset.
No.
So that if in
Yeah,
like
exactly.
5 years later
Although
time...
it is weird because with like the whole Infinity War and Endgame, we basically got a character restart on Gamora, so like, she's gonna
it's
have
kind
to
of
do her
annoying.
character arc all over
It'll be
again, I guess.
interesting. It'll be
Yeah.
interesting to see what they do. But like I said, I think if it is in the case, if they do maybe Secret Wars in a few years, that maybe like one or two of them
or
can
something.
come back. I mean, we're still
Oh,
getting
of course, yeah.
the Christmas special this year, which will be interesting to see.
More TV homework.
Yeah. But yeah, so that was my 2 bits. Lewis, you can crack on.
Okay, sweet.
Okay.
Yeah, just actually kind of staying on the topic with Marvel, we had Martin Freeman talk about what it was like filming Black Panther 2, obviously because Chadwick Boseman is no longer with us, and it's actually quite an opening interview, to be fairly honest. I'll just read you a quote and then I'll kind of summarize. He said, "It was a strange, that side of it. On the one hand, you're making a film that you're there to make, and there are scores and scores of people on set joined in this endeavour to make the film. But there's also no question that at the heart of it, there's quite a gap now, and you felt it." And that's kind of, he goes on to say that basically the production was a very weird experience, and that at times, it felt sad. And he says that Ryan Coogler is doing his best, and everyone else is like, putting blood, sweat, and tears to this thing, but it still kind of feels like there's a missing part to this. And
I mean, after all, like the first movie, like when you're working on a set for this long with so many, like with these people, like it becomes like a family thing. That's like why we see a lot of people returning for sequels and stuff like that with no issues. Like imagine just recreating the same kind of ambience and like working with the same people in a similar project, and one of them being missing. Like that can't be an easy thing to do.
No. It does seem like, from Martin Freeman's point of view, he said he didn't really film much for the film. He think he's only in it for a little bit, but
It's
just
that
like the whole
vibe.
production felt a bit sad. Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
This is honestly, I'm so interested for this film. Just how they're
me
going to
too.
do it, and how they're going to address it in universe as well. I think it's going to be quite interesting.
I don't know what they're doing with it. They're not good. They said there's no CGI, there's no recast.
I'm so
nothing
glad
like
because
that.
I think that's a bit too.
I was hoping so.
Well,
the CGI.
That would be incredibly
no,
disrespectful,
just
I feel
anything.
like.
I mean, like if you look at it, like they never did CGI for Carrie in the Return of the Rise of Skywalker. They just used old footage. But I would still feel that would be a bit
Still
off
think
for
that was
this
kinda
one.
disrespectful, honestly.
Oh yeah, if they did CGI.
No, I'm
it
not
would
talking about
feel
footage. I'm
really
not.
wrong.
I'm talking like unused footage. I would still feel that would be a bit weird.
Oh right, okay.
Like if I'm saying that, no, 'cause even last Rise of Skywalker didn't use CGI. They only used.
No, they just used old footage,
old-
and they used a body double and things like that.
Yeah,
Just
but they
like-
used
I have a feeling
unused footage, which I still feel would still feel off in this situation. I know it's slightly different to Carrie Fisher passing.
No, of course.
But what's the box office news, Lewis?
Yeah, let's move on to box office. So, of course, Doctor Strange and I'm going to focus on North America, then do worldwide. Doctor Strange: The Multiverse of Madness came number 1 everywhere on planet Earth. It opened in North America, the continent, I should say. To a total of 185.
Not everywhere, Lewis. It didn't get released some places. Let's calm down.
Oh, I suppose you're right. Sorry, yes.
Get your facts
Russia
right.
and China. Yeah.
Well, Saudi Arabia
this
was
is the
big
first
one.
time I've actually.
Oh, Saudi Arabia as well.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. This would
So
be
yeah,
the
Doctor
first
Strange,
time I've actually seen this movie before you guys. That's interesting because I saw it at like 3
sorry.
p.m.
So it grossed 185 million in North America and a total of 450 million worldwide in its first weekend. Cracking down. You know what's now number 2 in North America, guys? It's The Bad Guys. It made another 9.8
I actually
million.
kind of want to see this film because I don't know
Now I
why
need to
it's
watch
making
it.
money.
Yeah, what the heck? Maybe it's great.
Guys, box office is never equivalence of quality.
No, I
Come on.
know.
That's true.
You're not chummy.
Morbius didn't make that much, and it is a masterpiece.
Yeah,
of movie.
Morbius has made more than The Bad Guys.
Oh,
Kyle.
that's a shame. The bad guys deserve more.
I bet Bad Guys is better than Morbius.
Sonic 2 makes another 6.2 million. Its worldwide is now at 349 million.
Yeah, 349 billion. That's what it should be.
No. Well, Kyle, you're going to hate this one because Fantastic Beasts and the Secrets of Dumbledore made another 4 million this weekend, and its worldwide total is 363 million. So it's made more than Sonic.
Everybody go
Just
see
annoying.
Sonic just to push it above that shit film.
No. Everything Everywhere All at
Go
Once made another
weekend plans.
3.3 million North America, grossing
That is
another
good.
45 million worldwide, and it's opening
Well
in the UK
deserved.
finally next weekend.
Will it open in Spain ever?
No.
Find out.
I'm actually going to finally get to see it on Tuesday, so I'm really
Oh man.
Wait,
looking
when's it
forward
coming
to
out?
that one.
Jealous now.
It's coming out next weekend, but there's an unlimited screening on Tuesday, which
I'm
me
really
and my
jealous of
friend
you.
John are going to see.
Bloody,
I know you said you're seeing it next weekend, but hey, we can review it next weekend, so that's all good.
Wait, which weekend? Sorry.
just to kind of
Actually,
round-
wait to specify which weekend. Like,
Oh yes, for Gonzalo's sake, I think it's what, Friday the 13th.
no, I
That's what
genuinely,
it's-
I was also confused because I meant like next weekend. But that's fine.
No, you're yeah,
Okay,
the day after your
thank you.
birthday, Kyle. Yeah, just kind of round off the news. We have more of an update, I guess, on the Vin Diesel situation. This is all just kind of rumors and stuff.
The
I
quote
should say the
is,
Fast Furious
he
10
is a
situation.
ruddy bastard.
Yeah.
I love how you
Um,
called it the Vin Diesel situation.
I mean, that's what it's
That's a
what it's
great way of
rumored to
putting
be
it.
because
Yeah.
if you guys didn't know, Justin Lin, director of Fast and Furious 10, and who also directed like half of them, directed
Yeah.
5 other ones, he's now left the project, and it's now rumored to be because there might be a feud between him and Vin Diesel, which
Yes.
seems to be quite common on the Fast and Furious sets.
Unsurprising, yeah.
There was a report.
yeah,
Something
apparently-
like he showed up out of unprepared in the sense where he was actually overweight for the character, like he wasn't in shape for the role. He was showing up in sets, not actually learning his lines and just demanding things to get changed in the script. And that's how you really.
I mean, he is an executive producer, so
yeah, but
yeah,
come on.
it's not a good look. I feel like there must be something else. If like he's a veteran of this franchise, he's done 9 of these. It's his baby. You'd think you treat
yeah,
it with some
but-
care.
Is this the last
It's
At
one?
the same
interesting.
time,
No, this is the second last one.
Oh,
It's like a
God.
2-parter.
if you
Kelly, you
do
don't even
follow
watch
him,
I've seen Hobbs and
if you
Shaw.
do follow him in social media though, like he has been fairly unhinged for the past few years. It's actually
Yeah, it's been a
quite
bit strange. But this is actually getting
entertaining,
to a
yeah.
point now where if it's affecting, his
Yeah.
franchise he loves and cares for so much, it's a bit strange. But hopefully these rumors are just rumors, and that Justin
so.
Lin just left because I don't know, he hated the script. Anyway,
Speaking
guys,
of
let's
strange.
move on. Yeah, speaking of strange, let's move on to the spoiler section of our Doctor Strange 2 discussion. So guys, once again, final warning, if you haven't seen the film and you want to see the film and you want to
Right.
hear us talk about it, we're going full on spoilers now. So,
Let me go,
guys,
let me go,
what do you
let-
want to crack down with
Let me go.
first?
Let me add it.
Okay.
Right, Kyle wants
okay,
to go.
okay.
Kyle wants
Right.
to go.
Kyle, you do it.
We'll address the big elephant in the room, or the missing elephant in the room.
Mhm.
No
Yeah.
Morbius,
Okay.
but we'll get past that. We'll just
Okay.
have to move on.
See,
But no,
Lewis, this is why you don't let Kyle go
yeah,
first.
but no, sorry.
No, I know,
I want to talk.
I
I want
know,
to just talk
I
about. I
know.
want to talk about the cameos, right? The Illuminati,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
The most useless
Yeah,
group
the
of
real,
superheroes
confirmed.
in the multiverse, possibly, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, in story wise, to catch up, America Chavez and Doctor Strange, after a confrontation with Wanda at the Sorcerer's headquarters, is it? I can't remember what it's called,
Sanctum.
Uh,
It's Camertage.
Camertage, right?
Camertage. I was
They,
going to say Shangri-La.
yeah, they
Camertage.
get chucked through the multiverse. You know, the wee kind of collage of an animated universe, a paint universe.
They show a lot of awesome stuff.
And then they end up in
Which
a
we
really
don't get to
crap
see.
universe,
Sad.
yeah, where there's a lot of trees
Yeah.
outside, and
Which is literally also, by the way, did you guys notice the rooftop they land on?
Yes,
is literally
yes,
the
it's
one.
the exact same
Yeah.
It's
one.
the
yes.
exact same set, just with grass.
It's
on
almost
it.
like they
Yeah,
just were
really
like,
lazy.
let's crack on here.
that
But
was
anyway,
sad.
they
That
arrive
was
they
really
arrive in
sad.
this universe, and they decide to go visit the Strange of that universe to get answers or
Yeah.
some stuff.
Pizza
And
balls.
yes, pizza balls as
That's
well.
part of the
Bruce
movie.
Campbell, loving it.
Mhm.
Love him.
I love to see him.
And then so they go see this Strange, and Strange is not there, and Mordor's there, and it's so funny because even they have that like he opens the doors like, oh my god, it's Mordor. And I was like, I kind of forgot what happened between you two. I was like genuinely in my head trying to
Well,
remember.
everyone.
Well, also, they
kind of
gave you a
forgot
quick
what
bit of
happened.
dialogue in case you missed
It
it.
was like,
Yeah,
we're
so
not on the
in
best
the
of terms
first movie-
anymore.
in the first movie, basically, he felt betrayed when he figured out that the supreme person lady with bald lady,
Was
The
using the
Sorcerer's
dark
Stone.
Swinton lady,
dimension.
yeah, was using the dark dimension
yeah.
for power, and he felt betrayed, and he was like, "No more sorcerers." And there was a post-credit scene that led to
Yeah, he was on
nothing.
it. But anyway,
So,
that's not the
yeah.
same version. This is a different universe. This is the
No.
we'll call this the red
Still a
light
dick, though.
universe because of the red light means go. So
Well, they actually give us a number, don't they?
it's like
the
8-3
universe.
something. But anyway,
Yeah.
red light universe. So
838
Order
universe, yeah.
takes Strange and America Chavez. Well, drugs them actually. Takes them to the this
Illuminati.
base. This like glass door.
All right, you're Gonthaloing it here. Jesus, we've.
I want to
spoilers,
get
we've seen
into
the
the deep in stuff with this. All right.
film.
Okay.
We've got
and
to
then-
get every
and
detail
then-
here. Jesus.
Well,
Right.
I was gonna bring up the Christine Palmer thing as well.
Yeah, because I did say that thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, fair
Yeah.
enough.
Yeah. All right. Trying to do your job.
Also, I don't like the design of the interior of this building
No, it was
because
very
it does
weird,
not match
very
the design
weird.
of the outside
Yeah, it was
of the
weird.
rest
Anyway,
of the world.
I-
Like, it's a cool design, but it does not match what we've seen of this universe
Yeah,
so far,
I-
and I don't like that. And I want that
not many
on
plants. You know, less red lights.
Paper. Yeah,
But
there
but
are
there's
no
a
plants
there's
in
a red-headed Christine Palmer. You know, they're on the ginger
Yeah.
in this.
And this is the one which I alluding to in the spoiler-free bit where I was like, he was like felt like desperate to try and be like, oh, can't we work out? It's like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like you don't have a Strange, I don't have a Christine. It's like, mate, you're smarter than this. Why are you doing this? That felt
Yeah,
very.
she's smarter than
Do you
him.
know- do you
'cause
know
she's
what-
like, nah,
Do
bitch.
you know what that reminded me of when he was like, "You don't have that, I don't have that." Do you remember? Liz, you'll actually remember in Doctor Who when there's like Rose's parents from different dimensions hooked up.
Yes.
That's what it
Yeah, it
reminded
was
me
like
of.
that.
It's like I don't
Yeah.
have a jacket. Well, I don't have a whatever her dad's name is, Pete or something.
Oh,
And
that
that's,
is
Yeah.
that's what it reminded me of. But anyway, we get introduced to
But yeah,
the
it
Illuminati.
contradicts everything like his arc is about.
we get introduced to the Illuminati, and revealing order, Captain Carter. Whoopee!
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who
Maria
else
Rambeau.
who else thinks Captain Carter was there because the Tom Cruise thing didn't work out?
That was never a thing.
There was never a thing.
Was it
Gonzalo.
never a thing?
No, it
Okay.
was just
No,
rumors
it's
and
probably-
hearsay.
I know it's a
It was probably
rumor, but there's
because-
an Ultron stuff.
No, I think in this universe, the other character created Ultron.
Reed Richards.
Oh, it's Elastic Man.
Yeah, right. Anyway,
Yes, Mr.
so we have
Fantastic.
all right, okay, it's a big reveal like they did in the film. Gonfalo.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm
I was gonna do it
Did
like-
I
Hell,
spoil your
we're in the spoiler section. The people have seen the film.
Oh yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
so we got that Black Bolt from the Inhumans TV series.
Yeah.
Well,
it's quite
the
interesting.
comics, hopefully.
No, it's the same actor from the TV show.
I know, but nobody liked that TV show.
Yeah, I
so
mean,
it was
I
more
give
of a, hey guys,
I
comics.
give respect for him having a comic accurate costume. That was pretty.
Yeah, that was
That
really
was pretty.
nice.
We have a Captain Marvel, which I kind of got confused because so it's not
It's Maria
not Carol
Rambeau.
It
Danvers.
took me a while
Yeah.
to recognize who the fuck she was.
It's not
That
Carol
was fun.
Danvers. It's not Monica Rambeau.
It's her girlfriend.
It's Monica Rambeau's
It's Maria
mother
Rambeau.
from the film.
Yeah.
Maria
his
Rambeau.
name
I've
is-
said this
it's-
100 times.
yeah.
It's Maria Rambeau.
Is it? Oh, I didn't hear you.
It's Captain
Yes.
Marvel's
Yeah.
girlfriend.
So Maria
basically,
Rambeau, and then Reed Richards from the Fantastic Four,
Yeah.
portrayed by.
People applauded when he stood up in my theater.
In my
so that was
theater, people were
interesting.
more just like, "Oh, that's not somebody I know."
No, people.
The only
actually
person who reacted
applauded
in mine
this
was Oren, who was sitting next to me.
What did he say? What did he do?
He was just like, he kind of bumped me in the arm. Was like, oh, whoa.
Yeah, I think that's exactly how
Yeah,
Oren would
yeah.
do it. Exactly.
The applause,
Yeah.
though, like, just reminded me of how awkward it is that in the last two Marvel movies, we have had literal applause breaks when new characters are introduced, and I don't like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
So
Yeah.
just
I actually
wanted to
go
point
on
that
to
out.
rewatch No Way Home for that exact
Yeah.
reason. But the
Oh my
the Reed Richards reveal was so fucking annoying.
Hmm.
I honestly would have rather that he was just sitting in the chair and it just panned over to him.
Yeah.
Like that fucking
Yeah, 'cause
teleported
it wasn't
in.
the same Ray Richards either, so it's like,
No, it was like
who the fuck is this
teleported
guy?
in, and then obviously Charles Xavier in the wheelchair.
See, that's a reveal.
Yeah.
That's a reveal.
I'm
I feel
sorry,
like
I was
earned it.
almost close to tears. That wheelchair is
Yeah.
so fucking big.
Oh, it looks.
Yeah, because
He
they
looks
decided
so
to take it out
tiny
the
in it.
goddamn 90s
But
cartoon.
no, but even in the
Yeah.
cartoon,
Yeah.
he doesn't look as tiny
Uh-huh.
in it as he did in that.
Yeah,
Patrick-
because I feel like they actually built it for real.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Patrick
And that's
Stewart
the
just
problem,
looked
like, there was space
a
and
tiny
stuff.
wee thing in it,
Yeah.
and I couldn't.
But
I-
let's get it. Actually, I
actually
want to.
think they should have CGI'd the chair. Honestly, like art
I want to,
direction-wise, I would have CGI'd the chair. Just
I
to
want to
make
get
it
to actually.
more-
I want to
yeah.
start with Professor X.
Yeah.
And because I want to say, right, because actually there wasn't as many cameos as all the rumors were saying it's going to be a
Yeah,
billion
no,
cameos
which is
and everyone's going
good.
to show up in it. No, there was just the
good.
Illuminati, basically.
Yeah.
And they revealed the Professor X one, which in my opinion would have got the biggest reaction
Right.
Yeah.
out of any of them if it wasn't revealed in the trailer. No, because that is genuinely... That is, Patrick Stewart as Charles
They
Xavier.
shouldn't have shown him in the
MCU.
trailer. Yeah, 'cause that
Absolutely
was
not.
weird. There was an applause for fucking like Mr. Fantastic played
Yeah.
by the Office guy, and there was
Yeah.
no applause for fucking Doctor X,
Because we all
Professor
knew it.
X.
And it was just
because
like, that
they
was...
showed it in the
that
trailer.
To me, yeah, that to me
That's
is
a
the
sin
biggest... That's the biggest
right
one.
there.
That's the biggest one.
Right.
If you,
Yeah.
you know,
I have
that
a-
has a massive audience and all that stuff. But
Can I chuck in a
Yeah.
theory here that I have that I was being kind of mulling over?
all right, here we
Yes.
go. Kyle's madcap theories.
This is
right?
a madcap theory, but
Right.
Yeah.
I have a suspicion that
Hmm.
it. I honestly thought I think it was originally just Professor X,
Right.
Oh, and they just
right?
did the
Because see
at
if
the
you
last
notice
moment.
it, right? So obviously it's very clever because none of the characters interact really with, and especially in that scene, right, when they're all
No.
saying it,
No,
They're-
they're
none
not.
of them are interacting. Most of them, it's
Not even during the fight.
not
scene.
even in the fight scene. Like in that
Yeah, it's like
fight scene-
single body shots of each one.
Yeah, they could have just.
Which is annoying because instead of like combining their powers in cool,
Yeah, well, the
interesting
thing is,
ways,
I honestly
they
think
just attack one by one.
I genuinely think
So
that
I
they were
think-
all
yeah.
on in separate days and such.
Yeah,
I
you know,
think you're
yeah.
right.
But like
Yeah.
in that scene, especially like they have,
yeah.
Agent Carter, Black Bolt, Captain Marvel, and Reed Richards communicating to each other. But I'm not entirely sure, but I'm 90% sure that Mordor and Xavier were the only ones to communicate with each other. Like Xavier
Yeah,
only
probably.
communicated
Should
with
watch it
Mordor,
again,
and like and
Mordor.
sorry,
Jesus,
sorry.
Mordor. This is not Lord of the
Rings,
Rings.
right? But anyway,
Mordor.
anyway, I think
Jeez, I need
especially
Mordor.
later on when it comes to the fight scene, right, and Xavier has that kind of cool mind battle with Wanda.
Yeah, the main
Yeah.
pal.
That really kind of
Yeah, that's the one that seemed properly filmed.
that's the
and,
thing.
Like,
That for
Yeah.
me,
they
that was
put
like
a lot of thought into that.
yeah. So when I saw that, I was like, right, I think Xavier was the original big cameo,
Mhm.
and then I think Marvel after, such and such were
No Way
maybe a
Home.
wee bit more
Mhm.
like let's push this.
Yeah, because
Let's
we
pick-
talked about
yeah.
how there was a series of reshoots that were rumored to be just like the studio saying you need to add this, this, and this to the movie once it was like.
I think a
basically
lot
done.
of that second act, because if you look at especially, like I said, with that,
You're talking about the green screen.
yeah, with that Xavier, no,
Yeah.
sorry, with that Xavier battle, that had horror elements
yeah.
in it.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah, of
so that
course.
made it felt
was
that made it
brutal.
felt like this was Sam doing it, but then the other
Yeah,
But also,
the other fights were just slightly
I wanna
gory in the deaths, and that was it.
yeah, and also,
Yeah.
I think, especially when Captain Carter dies, it looks terrible. Like the background, it looks so fake as shit. It generally looked bad. So I was just like, that kind of leads into what you're saying. That
probably
they
had
shot
to
them all
rush it,
individually,
yeah,
and they
yeah.
threw them in just because. And actually, I like we all wanted the Illuminati to die, obviously because they're meant to be really
Yeah.
stubborn and just like really wrong about the whole situation.
God,
But
yeah.
I really wanted Captain Carter to die because of this. She was she was sitting down holding her shield. Why are you doing that? She was holding her shield while sitting down.
Yeah,
you guys
'cause
notice
she
that?
had to
I
show
was
the
just like-
shield because
I was
otherwise
like,
nobody
mate,
would know she
I
was.
was just
the
like, put it down.
Captain
That,
You're
America
sitting in a
that,
chair.
that was like for people
Yeah,
who
but
was
that's
that was
'cause-
like Marvel going like you have to make it sure that they know it's her.
Yeah, exactly. Like
know.
it's
But
for
she
people
throws
who
the shi-
didn't
oh.
know. I know, but it's for people
So
who
She
didn't
does the
know she was
dramatic
Captain
throwing the
America's
shield thing, and-
like version.
So like that was my gripe. I kind of felt like
I liked seeing her. Honestly, I think her like whole outfit into science
Wow.
Marvel, it just
What
I
did,
was-
no, but
Yeah,
seriously,
anything
this is
to do.
this is the problem with the second act for me is that we lead up to this Illuminati thing, which feels like we're just stalling for time to pad the runtime, and you have these
Yeah.
quote unquote cameos for characters we quote unquote care about when we don't. Because that's the thing, I love those X-Men films, right? I really do. You know that, Kyle. I've talked to you many times about how much I loved the
Oh,
old X-Men
you
films.
love them a lot.
Seeing Patrick Stewart and seeing John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic and seeing Captain Carter and all that stuff, I literally felt nothing. And I was like, right, see when they died, I was like,
same,
great, get
yeah.
them out of the way, let's move on. Because
Uh-huh.
it just felt so superfluous. It felt so empty and hollow and just unnecessary to the main point of the story.
The interesting thing, and why I think Kyle is right, is that anyone could have literally been on those chairs. You could have put fucking anyone, any single Marvel character on those 5 chairs, and it wouldn't have changed anything at all, except maybe how they died.
No. Yeah.
Like,
exactly.
I see. I completely agree with you were talking about, Lewis, with especially with Xavier, right? Because the rest of them, like, I mean, Black Bolt, Captain Marvel, Captain Carter, we always see them, right? We know them. And then when it was Charles, I was like, I have had so many films with you. I should be feeling something here, but I just don't.
It's just
because
it was a big old shrug.
And it was
I
like
like the soundtrack playing, and that was about
because
it.
I genuinely
Oh,
thought,
that was annoying. I hate and the repeating lines from like the films, like Charles Xavier saying the stumbling line, it's like to like get picked back up, and Captain Carter saying I could do this all day. I was just like, just so fucking lazy, man. Just so lazy. Just like
because I originally didn't.
Wouldn't it have been way better if instead of those scenes that are literally like they're made for fan service, but they do not service any fan?
Yeah.
Wouldn't it have been more awesome if that was just them jumping through the different multiverses and we got to see a multiverse of madness?
Yeah, like
because we said it wasn't very mad. We were stuck
not.
in the boring, super shiny New York
It would have
for like
been- it would have been
45
cool.
minutes of the
Same
film.
issue I had with What If. You know the What If show? This is the same issue I had with it. It's supposed to be the super wild, what if this happened instead of this?
Yeah,
It would have
but it was
been-
all very
yeah.
contrived.
It's the most fucking straightforward way of like looking at any of the things.
do you know what being
Like,
cool,
it's
right?
just
And it was all
like-
to build. It was all to build to a big like crossover finale. That was like this wasn't the point of What If. The point of
Yeah.
What If was to just have one-off episodes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because the crossover finale was just meh.
See what I would have liked.
And the cool, interesting exploration of multiverses wasn't cool or
Right.
interesting.
Anyway, we're gonna say
Yeah.
I want to give an idea of what I think could have happened. Right.
Yes,
Right.
give us an idea.
Like, so you almost had like it was almost like a chase through the multiverse, right?
Yeah,
And
Yeah, with America.
with
yeah.
America, so America and so right. Originally, what I was trying to say in the beginning. So obviously, we get introduced to. I believe he's titled Defender Strange, right? Ponytail Strange, right? So he's with
Yeah.
America at the
With the
start,
ponytail.
and he dies pretty early on. And I was a bit like, imagine, right? Hypothetical. This is a Marvel writer's room. You had R. Strange, Ponytail Strange, and America Chavez running away from Wanda, right? Now Wanda's kind of situated in our 616 universe,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
she's going to be doing like so they're running between universes trying to get away from her, and we run into, and this is where we have the cameos. Like you can run into like a completely
Yeah.
destroyed universe in like a like an X-Men universe, but where like they lost and like the Sentinels won or something like that. Like the Days of Future Past beginning sort of thing. But then like you have like Wanda keeps puppeting.
Chasing them.
Is it called puppeting again? What was it called? Dreamwalking.
Dreamwalking.
Yeah, but like
Yeah.
she keeps dreamwalking and each one like eventually catching them, and it gives like a horror element. And then you could have done that going through
See,
multiple universes.
I would have stuck with the same Wanda, and I would have made it because like I really like the idea of like just hopping through different universes, like that chase in the tunnels. Instead of chasing through the tunnels, they're chasing through different universes.
Yeah.
I would have loved it to also thematically go with like what's supposed to be his arc, like the idea of him trusting someone other than himself to
dreamwalking.
do something. So maybe have like Wanda like injure America Chavez, and we've seen that whenever she's in danger, she automatically starts jumping.
Yeah.
So like the idea of her having like a mortal injury that's hurting her right now, and that causing her to like open portals every once in a while during the entire chase, and like lead that up to like a climactic moment where like Strange has to like trust her to jump at the right moment rather than try to take things into his own hands and have that moment where he's trying to take charge of the situation and then realizes, oh shit, no, I have to trust you.
Especially
and
like,
does something.
Yeah.
Yeah, like just to have like not a big moment of trust, but just a little hint of trust to then like plant that seed for the finale, because the finale's fucking great.
Yeah,
I would keep the finale the same thing.
Especially when he dreamwalks into his corpse.
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool. I thought
that was amazing. I thought that was done perfectly
and for me,
well.
like I was saying this to Lewis earlier. The biggest thing for me I wanted to see was weird magic.
Yeah,
and then that music battle.
Oh, the music note battle.
Oh my god, that was so cool.
Oh my god.
I could see a lot of people not liking it, but I was like, that's what weird magic is.
I love that so much. Me and my brother were freaking out, and like the thing is, he's a big like classical music buff, so like he was like, oh, it's that song.
Yeah.
Oh, it's that song. And I was like, yeah, heck yeah, this is really cool. No, but like I feel like that battle would have been a lot better if thematically it made any sense at all. So like, if that was a case where like instead of battling a Strange that like wants to like get with Christine or whatever her name was, I forgot what her name is.
Palmer.
But instead of battling like that Strange, like the motivation of the other Strange was like he tried to control everything, you know?
Mm-hmm. So yeah,
like that would have made sense because it's like he's really confronting the worst version of himself of what we're talking about in this arc.
Like,
it's like,
see, for me, genuinely, right? I
yeah.
You know, there was one fight in it, and it's with it's in the Illuminati thing, but it's Strange and his other sorcerer, not
Mordor, yeah.
where they're just having that random fist fight, and I'm just like, this just feels really out of nowhere.
Why is this happening? Yeah,
like
why?
If you really take that second act out, I would like, I would take a random just jump in story. And I would give it like a 7 out of 10.
You don't need to introduce any more characters because that's just taking screen time and time away from our like actual like deepening of these characters.
Yeah.
You can still keep Christine. I think that's her name.
Yeah, I think it is Christine Palmer.
You can still keep Christine Palmer, an alternate version, because I did like what they did there.
So then also I want to talk about the other Strange that we meet, the one where that incursion happened. And he's been using the Darkhold, and he's got
terrible motivation, terrible character.
I honestly, I couldn't tell you why. And like, this is something that's been bugging me, which I don't know if I just missed it in the cinema. Why does he have that third eye?
I don't know. I'm not familiar enough with the comic.
Was it maybe like the fact he was just using it, and then that kind of gave him his third eye?
Yeah, because like, by using it, he gets a third eye, and then when we see the other Strange, like our Strange using it, he gets a third eye at the end as a consequence. I know that's a thing. Yeah. I don't know what the fuck the third eye is about.
I want to say that, like, I genuinely think the first end credit scene with Charlie Theroux is Cleo.
Yeah.
Cleo, I think that's her name. I can't remember.
I don't know what character she is.
So you end the film ends right with America Chavez is training alongside Wong and that and there, and so Strange and I'm obviously sorry right. Well, quickly talking about I want to quickly talk about this thing. We'll get back to Wanda's fate, but you have it that so Strange leaves the sanctum, goes on a walk, has like a big almost headache, and then like a scream. Yeah. And then the eye appears.
And his third eye appears. Yeah.
After 2 minutes of...
Which is supposed to be the answer to, like, that moment where Wong is like, so do you have any side effects from using the Darkhold? And he's like,
2 minutes later, when the credits get to our first end credit scene, right? We then have the end credit where he's there and he comes in and he's like, let's do this. And his eye just appears. And I'm like...
Yeah.
Were we not meant to have like an issue where like I thought this eye was like a scary thing?
Yeah, a bad thing, and now he's like, so that's annoying because basically they're setting up, hey, this is a weird thing that happened that he's gonna have to learn to control or learn to live with, and then they just cut to him already living with it, and that just ruins the entire tension. I completely agree. That was dumb and stupid, and I don't know why that is there. Also, like, I don't know what character Charlize Theron is supposed to be playing. I don't know what the fuck them going into the dark dimension means through like for the future of the franchise. So I don't feel like it was like an important enough after credit scene
I
to
know.
even happen.
Yeah,
if
I was
you know
just,
what I mean.
I just kind of felt like it was added in because like I thought,
and it takes away from the main.
yeah, like I
like,
thought,
story.
I thought this whole like third eye was meant to be
I think my
shocking
Wi-Fi is
and
the one
scaring.
that's not working well.
right?
No,
because
I was
can't
gone for
hear Kyle.
ages. I was
Yeah,
gone
I
for
know
ages.
you were gone for ages.
And then we
Lewis.
just,
I was.
me and Godfather were just,
Okay, Kyle's
yeah, we
back,
just,
we're all
we
back.
just kept talking.
We just kept going. We just kept
Right.
fucking
What
going.
did you- what did you
I
guys
noticed
We're
talk
that you were
rewriting the
going.
movie right now.
Yeah, we just
Yeah.
kept going.
We rewrote the entire second act to improve this movie. Like, it was really fun, honestly.
We changed the name while you were gone, just to the Godfather
okay.
and Kyle show.
How much did I miss? How many minutes was I gone for?
Oh,
5.
like I
That-
mean, we
that was a
really
lot.
tore a new one.
Mm.
I mean, I want to actually ask you about this, Lewis, since you're back with us. You know.
Okay. Yeah.
Lewis has dream walked from another universe.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
So, right.
I wasn't even. I couldn't even react to you guys. I just genuinely
Yeah,
couldn't hear
couldn't even hear
anything you were
us.
saying, so I have
It
no
was-
idea
it
what
was
they were talking
all
about.
top quality. Just don't listen. Just
So,
don't listen back to the episode.
basically,
No,
but-
Kyle, shut up.
basically,
Gonzalo, you
Kyle-
summarize.
yeah, basically, Kyle and me just like kept talking about our issues with the
Scene
middle
one.
of the film, and we both like rewrote the middle of the film to work better.
Yeah.
And at this point, we were discussing the end credit scene and how it takes back
Oh, it's
from
terrible.
the literal, like the ending of a cliffhanger, and then having the end credit
like
scene
2
destroy
minutes.
that cliffhanger
Yeah, so like
entirely.
I want
Yeah,
your
yeah,
opinion on
because
the
he just
eye.
he just keeps on walking.
Yeah.
Well, it's like the eye.
The eye looks terrible.
Well, I know you have issues with the CGI. Yeah,
He's
but like,
wearing something different, I think.
no, but it's the idea that like I think it's like meant to be like a time jump, right? Where
Yeah,
the
yeah,
first
I think
one
it's
he's
time
like
jump, for
screaming,
sure.
"Ah, have this eye," and then
Yeah.
4 minutes of credits later, he's just like, "Do, do, do,
Yeah, he's just
do."
like-
He was like, "I need
Yeah,
your
Yeah,
help."
but it destroys.
It's
And,
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Charlize Theron
Yeah.
comes in a Power Rangers costume and
Oh no,
takes
no,
it to
Yeah,
I
like
to
saw,
the
I
Dark
saw,
Dimension.
universe.
I saw
Yeah.
people comparing it to the Eternals costumes, like a purple Eternals costume.
No, it
Oh.
looks way worse.
See,
it looks
my
really
brother
bad.
thought she was an Eternal. He was like, "Wait, is that one of the Eternals?" And I was like,
Is that one of the Eternals?
Yeah.
It's
No,
because obviously
wait,
she's like the niece of Dormammu, you know, from the first.
yeah. So I assume they're going to bring Dormammu
yeah,
that's
back
why-
for another one.
"Oh, that's why they're going into the Dark Dimension." Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, but it was just
Yeah.
the fact
I
that like
I don't know.
like that felt like it was added by Marvel, because I was like,
Oh, yeah.
Yes, 100%.
Sam Raimi wouldn't
100%.
end it with this cliffhanger of like him being like,
No,
I have this side effect now, to then him just being going like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm fine with it.
no. The thing
There's
is,
potentially.
Sam,
There's a potential.
Sam Raimi had an end credit scene. It's the dumb joke with like the guy hitting himself. Like that was
Yeah.
there
That
from
was
the
his.
beginning for sure. But then they had to put
Yeah.
one in the middle.
I actually didn't
Yeah,
wait for that.
just
I
to
saw
sort
that. Oh, I didn't wait to the
Online, so you just
I
it was good. No, it was good fun watching that opening night, and then just like everyone waiting for this. It's like, yes,
Yeah.
it's over.
Yeah.
That was quite
Yeah, that was.
Um,
But actually, I want to discuss the actual, the very ending of the film.
Ending.
Like,
yeah,
like,
yeah,
we-
because you have a big
the
issue with
last-
the ending. I don't know what your issue is.
Okay.
Please tell me.
For me
what your
personally,
issue is.
it's purely because so we've been through this entire massive
journey.
universe scoping, multi-universe thing, third act, where Strange possesses a dead Strange to then go
Yeah.
fight Wanda and
That
get
was
America
quite
to
strange, wasn't
Well, you guys didn't talk about the third act, did you? While I was gone.
it?
only
No,
talked
no,
about
we
the
kind of
first
No,
act.
because this is stuff we liked, and what I was saying when I said it was kind of anti third act Marvel earlier in the spoiler
actually
free
good.
bit is because well, not only was there there was that fantastic creative music battle between
Oh my
Strange and
God,
Evil
that
Strange.
was-
That was so creative and brilliant.
The
I thought
start
it was
of the
genius.
third
I
act
thought it was
amazing, and I love
that
it.
was fantastic stuff.
We
And
did
then-
mention while you were gone though that we
Mm-hmm.
both hate the motivation of dark evil Doctor Strange, and we think that like the motivation that he's presented with and why he's evil is completely contradictory to the arc that they're presenting
Mm-hmm.
for Doctor Strange in the movie, and that it would have been more valuable to have him be, for example, like the idea of a megalomaniac, like he lost his Palmer in that universe,
Yeah.
and now he
Yeah.
wanted to control everything.
yeah,
Put
yeah,
everything
yeah.
on his like that would have been thematically perfect, and I don't know why they didn't do
No,
that.
I agree with that.
He could have still said the same thing about, oh, I want your Palmer because I lost mine or something like
yeah,
that.
Yeah.
It also would have tied back to like the reference they're doing to the what if, because
What
what
if,
if evil Strange also has the purple magic and the weird eyebrows. So
Yeah.
It was terrible and ridiculous and dumb, and I don't know why
But
they
the battle
didn't do that.
was really creative and genius.
Yeah.
But I love the music
Love the
fight
music battle.
so
And then
much.
obviously he then gets the idea of possessing the dead
Yes.
Strange to then go help
Yes.
Wong and Chavez fight
It's great. The cape
Wanda.
of
And then that's when we
souls.
get, instead
Yeah.
of just beating her, they realise they cannot beat her, it's not possible.
Yeah.
So Chavez is the one who figures out, well, I've got to use this card, and makes her realise that pretty much she's gone too far, and that not only
Yeah.
in this universe
never
her kids couldn't
get what she
possibly
wants.
love her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because she's gone too far. She's terrifying to her kids, and she's lost her way. She can't be a mother properly.
Yeah.
And that's a really good way. And also, that's a really great way, I think, to stop the villain, is to just basically hold a mirror up to them and be like, yeah. Look at yourself.
Yeah.
Which
It's
I thought, I was like, yes.
Sam
this-
Raimi ending. It's a
yeah, it's
fantastic
a really
ending.
great. It's an ending that is not only reflects on the character itself, that not only doesn't go for the big explosions, but also uses really creative ways with Doctor Strange to like figure out ways to beat her, and also
Yeah.
we do get that
And-
we get that sort of laser beam battle, but done in a really creative, cool
Yeah.
way with the music stuff.
But it's a great culmination to what I was talking about, to the arc. The
Yeah.
issue with this arc is that it's missing the fucking middle part, but like the culmination of the arc of him realizing, first it mirrors the beginning of the movie, how
Yeah.
we see the alternate him that wants
Exactly,
to put
it's-
everything
it
on his own
bookends it, yeah.
shoulders, and he's like, okay, well, I must do this, I'll sacrifice myself and sacrifice you to fix everything, and the contrast of him being like, no, I'm not going to sacrifice you, I'm going to trust you to do the right thing and control
Yeah,
your powers. You know, and it bookends that arc really beautifully.
Yeah,
Again,
it's good.
the issue this is no exploration.
There's no
of this
middle
fucking
bit,
thing
yeah.
throughout the middle of the movie.
Yeah, because the middle bit, he's literally doing his best to protect her and save her and,
And
get back.
he's
in.
doing everything.
Yeah.
Even
Yeah.
this one scene bugged me so much while I was watching the movie, and it's the moment
Mm-hmm.
where like they're running away from Wanda and they're in the hall. They're with like Dr. Palmer, and he's like, "Oh, let's go do this," and she's like, "Oh, just like you, always wanting to control everything." And instead of him being like, "Wait, I'll ask you, what should we do?"
Yeah.
The girl is like, America Chavez is like, "Well, I trust him." And they're like, "Okay, well, let's do
Yeah,
what
it's
he
all
says
good.
now." And it's like, dude, you literally
Yeah.
brought it up, and
Uh-huh.
then you didn't do shit with it. Why would you bring
Right.
it up? Oh,
So I want
sorry.
to get to the very end of the film, and that really comes
Yeah.
down to. So Wanda, seemingly, I don't think she's actually dead. Entombs
No,
herself
yeah.
with the
I mean, there's a red flash as the building
Yeah,
comes
I
down
saw
on her,
that.
which
So-
could be interpreted
Yeah.
as either her, her magic being squished, or more likely her somehow teleporting
Yeah,
somewhere else.
yeah.
At that
It's a
last
classic
minute.
way of Marvel to be like, look,
Yeah.
it keeps their
Plausible
options open, basically.
deniability.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
exactly. It keeps their options open. They could,
Yeah.
in
They
like
could
6
kill her.
years' times, they'd be like, "Oh, Wanda might be really good for this film or something. Let's
Yeah,
bring her
exactly,
back."
yeah.
Or they might just never use her again. I think they
Yeah.
do that. They did that with like Abominations finally coming back in a
Yeah,
goddamn
yeah,
TV
they
show.
did.
But anyway,
Yeah.
when we get to the end, it's sort of look. I don't want or need every Marvel movie to sort of be like, this needs to have like universe changing stakes and things like that at all. Like, we didn't really get that with it, like, Black Widow or Shang-Chi or anything.
Yeah.
But
Although
when
those
we
are
get
two examples
to
of pretty weak movies, but sure.
okay,
do
yeah,
on.
sure.
Fuck you.
Oh yeah, I suppose so. Now I think
Yeah.
of Black Widow's sister and
Yeah.
whatever their Shang-Chi is. Okay, maybe not the best example. Maybe something like, I don't know, Ant-Man 2, right? There you
Yes,
go.
brilliant movie.
Ah.
Critically acclaimed.
A critically acclaimed
love to
box
But when we
title.
get to the end, it's still. I didn't like the way it wrapped up, in a sense that Doctor Strange and Wong and even America to an extent are all just like happy smiles, jokey joke, ha ha ha. And I'm like, no, this was actually. Not only did actually a bunch of your students die having
Yes,
to
they
fight
did
off Scarlet
very
Witch,
much die.
you
One of
know,
them incinerated
you guys had
herself.
to go through this horrible adventure. You had to
Yeah.
possess the dead body of another Doctor Strange, and also Wong almost died, and went through this horrible experience, and also someone you knew and someone you actually kind of cared about and was an Avenger died. Well, you
Yeah.
believe is dead,
Yeah.
and it just kind of ended on that like sunny like,
I-
hey, that's the end of the episode. Hey,
I
the villain's
have a
defeated.
feeling-
Hey,
I
everyone's
have
happy.
a feeling I would have
Mm-hmm.
liked the ending a lot more if they literally if they just skipped the scene where we see America Chavez training and Wong and all
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
that stuff. If they just don't put that in and we just see Doctor Strange fixing the watch and then going out in the street.
Yeah,
Because that's
yeah.
a thematic wrap up without actually telling us, everything's okay or everything's not okay.
It's gonna
And
be
they leave it
alright.
open for like the setup of another movie. Because that's like what I really liked. The one part I really liked about like freaking the Spider-Man one, the last one, the home, everyone's home
No Way
one.
Home.
Yeah.
Everyone's home. For
Everyone's
dinner.
home.
Everyone's home, all of them. That one at the beginning, like, it's really interesting what they did with like the consequences of the ending of the last one. So it would have been really interesting if they just try to not wrap things up and leave it as we'll see what the consequences of this movie are within the next movie about this. That makes any
Next
sense?
Doctor Strange or whatever. Yeah.
Just before we wrap up, I want to ask, right? Where do we see this going? Do we see Sam Raimi returning to do a third Doctor Strange?
Nah.
I don't know.
No.
He was barely
No.
in this one, was he?
He was barely flexed his muscles in this one. This was, I think, Sam Raimi just kind of getting back on his horse and being
Yeah.
like, look, it's time to let's work with a big studio again. Let me try my hand again at another superhero thing, just to sort of kind of get back on the horse and like work. I think he understood what happened with Spider-Man 3, and he went, look, I can't control everything. Clearly not. And now, MCU is a control. Well, Kevin Feige, control freak
freaks.
center. He's like, look, I'm not even
Like,
going to
it's
bother.
his job to be a control
Yeah.
freak. but
I'm not
still,
even going to
dude, come
bother
on,
trying to
chill.
make like the film I was going to make. I'm just going to play to their hand and be like, when I can, I'll throw in the things I like. And I think it was just him being like, yeah, you know what, I'll play by your rules this time, get a paycheck, and I can make something. Hopefully people will be like, yeah, I'll pay some money to make finance your next film. I think that's what it was for Sam Raimi, filling in for Scott Derrickson.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't know him personally, so I don't know how he feels about it, but given his filmography and what I've seen of him, I have a feeling this was just hey, let's see if it works out.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't. Okay, let's just go back to doing whatever the fuck we want to, and being artistically responsible for everything. So, yeah, I have a feeling
I
he's not
agree.
coming back, and he just because let's be honest, he just lent his name in this movie. He wasn't really directing, was
For
he?
sure.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
Went it.
Yeah.
I'm sure, obviously, we'll probably get Doctor
Like,
Strange 3
If
in like
you
3 or 4 years'
if
time, I
you
presume.
take away the Ash cameo, and you tell me ask me to tell you who directed this movie, I would never be able to tell you who directed this movie.
Yeah, I don't know when we'll see Doctor Strange next. Like I said, his next film could be in God. I mean, it's been 6 years since the first one came out, so God knows when the next one will be. I'm sure it'll be some crossover thing, Blade maybe. I don't know.
Ooh, that's true.
that'd be
Yeah,
fun.
Blade.
That's true.
Midnight
But yeah, that's
Suns.
kind of.
Who knows?
Why wasn't Blade the bad guy in Morbius?
No, let's not go. Let's not talk about Morbius ever again, guys. Can we just?
He brought it up. I
Can we
didn't.
just
I didn't.
stop? I know, Kyle. You
Sorry.
didn't even bring it up this time.
Sorry.
But look,
sorry. I'm
Morbi-
just saying, a vampire hunter versus a vampire protagonist.
Yes,
it
we
feels
went
pretty-
over that in the review.
Let's
We went
talk
over that and we
Okay,
covered it
sorry,
going
I'm
foul.
sorry.
Trust me, we
Maybe
did.
maybe Doctor Strange will turn up as Morbius too. That could be it.
Morbius 2. The
Oh,
Doctor
okay,
Strange.
okay. I think that
Madness
it's time for
of the
bed now.
Morbius
But yeah, big disappointment that they showed an animated universe and they didn't spend time
They
in
didn't
an
do
That
it.
was a
animated
bit
universe.
annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're kind of like,
That was a
go
big
on.
disappointment.
Spend 2 minutes in
Because that
there.
looked so awesome, and they could have literally, because if they were gonna have Patrick Stewart in it, they could have literally gone to the animated
Yeah.
X-Men universe.
X-
I'm not
X-Men
even gonna.
universe,
I'm not
yeah.
that
even
would
gonna
have
lie.
been amazing.
Family Guy did a better episode across the multiverse.
of
Genuinely, they
Madness.
did.
Yeah. And I'd say that's probably the biggest takeaway, I guess, from all of this is that
Family Guy did it better.
there was, I think, well,
There was
yeah,
no
sure.
multiverse
No.
in this one.
There
That's
was
the biggest
there was a
takeaway.
lot more. There was a lot of potential on the plate, and they
Yeah.
didn't. They didn't take it all. They didn't take it all for granted. They didn't use that potential, and they didn't really make it a mad film or a scary film.
Yeah.
That some
See,
people might say.
Weirdly, my issue with this film is not that they didn't do enough, is that they did too much, and they should have dropped like half of the film and focused fully on like one specific aspect of it.
The madness and
I wish it would have been the multiverse aspect of it, but I would have also taken this film if it hadn't focused on the multiverse at all and just focused on like a smaller kind of. But like my thing is, again, like we discussed, the middle bit, it adds nothing to anything
it's
at
just
all.
it's padding.
And
That's what
it's not even good fan service. It's
No,
not even
it's
good
not.
fan
It's
service
not good
because
fan service.
No,
let's be
it's
honest,
not really
like
even that
I would
good.
consider
Yeah,
I would consider myself a big fan of Captain Britain to the point where like I like her design and it feels like a cool idea,
Captain
and that's
Carter,
about
Captain
it.
Britain's a different character. Gonzalo, please get it right.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm
Well,
sorry.
if
Yeah,
you
but
say
that's
you're
the
a
thing,
big
like
fan
I
of her,
said,
get the fucking
uh,
name right. That's all I'm saying. You know.
That's what I'm
Well,
saying.
Gonzalo, like you
it's
said
just-
before
Yeah,
we
sorry,
started,
Lewis.
like
yeah.
if this was like
There was no
like we
madness.
just had Batman the other month,
Yeah.
and that was a very genre heavy film.
Yeah.
And imagine if they gave all creative control to Sam Raimi. Oh my god. Oh my god,
that
what we
would've
could have
been
got.
amazing.
But anyway,
So many.
that I think will wrap up our discussion
Yes.
for Doctor Strange 2.
Yes,
Um,
because
so-
everything else we need to talk about, we will talk about in next week when we actually tackle
Yes.
the overall Marvel problem. Ooh.
Yes. We're gonna take on the quote unquote controversial topic that is,
Yeah.
are Marvel movies cinema?
Are
It's
they
a very,
real
very
movies?
snobby topic, I know.
Super
But
snobby.
you know, Gonzalo wants to do it. And
I'm
I'm
so
actually on
excited
board.
about
I
this.
want to
Okay.
do it with him as well.
Well,
Let's not take that out of
And I'm
context.
here.
Let's not clip that. But anyway, thank you guys for joining me as always. So thank you, Gonzalo,
Yeah, you're welcome.
and thank you, Kyle.
Yeah, you're very welcome.
So guys, please follow the podcast on Spotify. Please like and subscribe us on YouTube. Do all that nonsense. Anything you do for the channel will help. Please visit unwantedopinion.net. I finally have some new articles on that thing.
Yes.
You know, after months of leaving it, you know,
Yeah.
derelict.
Oh,
Yeah,
Finally.
and guys, you may have loved Doctor Strange 2, you may have hated it, but at the end of the day, what we gave was just our unwanted opinion. See you next time.
Ladies and gentlemen.
I'll do it again. I need to do it again. You know, he threw me off. He's a bastard. He's drinking on the job, Gonzalo. It's making him a bastard. It's ruining my flow. Right?
I'm just gonna do it again. Just wait. Just watch.